This is Chaser. She was a border collie who lived in a small house in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and she knew 1,022 words. Not commands, not tricks, words, more than most human toddlers. Her story started with a retired professor, a birthday gift, and a question that seemed too simple to be important. This is Dr. John W. Pilley. For over 4 decades, professor of psychology at Wofford College, specializing in how living things learn. By June 2004, retired for 9 years. His work was done, and then his wife Sally handed him a birthday present. An 8-week-old Border Collie. Most people turn 76 and get a nice cardigan. John Pilley got a co-investigator. Because Pilley wasn't just a dog owner, he was a behavioral psychologist who had spent his career studying the outer limits of what minds, any minds, could do. And when he looked at this puppy, he didn't see a pet. He saw an open question. What is the upper limit of what a dog can actually learn? Normal retirement thoughts, golf, grandchildren, early dinners. John Pilley, multi-year cognitive linguistics experiment on a border collie. 2 years earlier, German researchers had trained a border collie named Rico to recognize over 200 object names, the most ever recorded for a non-human animal. The world was briefly stunned, then immediately skeptical. Critics argued Rico wasn't understanding words, just pattern matching, associating sounds with actions. It looked like language. But was it really language? This distinction matters enormously in science. Pilley believed the critics had a point, but also that nobody had pushed far enough. His method was almost embarrassingly simple. Show the toy. Say the name. Play. That's the complete methodology of one of the most important animal cognition studies in history, a retired man, a puppy, and a toy called Darwin. No food rewards. Chaser didn't care about food. She cared about the game. Find it, bring it, be praised, repeat. He named every single toy, 4 to 5 hours of training every day, without a break, without a grant, without a salary. He was 76. While most people his age were watching morning television, John Pilley was running vocabulary drills with a border collie. He stopped at 1,022, not because Chaser reached her limit, because his wife Sally said there was no more room in the house for toys. The actual upper limit of what Chaser could learn, we genuinely don't know. The experiment ended because of interior design constraints. But the number wasn't the discovery. What Chaser did with those words, that was the discovery. Chaser learned 1,022 words. But did she actually understand them? Or was she doing something that looks like understanding, but isn't? When you hear apple, you don't just retrieve an apple. You have an image, a taste, a color, associations, a whole network. Did that same thing happen in Chaser's brain? Emory University, 2018. Scientists trained dogs to lie still in an fMRI scanner. Getting a dog to lie still in a large magnetic tube is its own achievement. These are animals that lose their minds when someone rings a doorbell. Known words versus unknown words produce different brain activity patterns. Not behavior, brain activity. First direct evidence. Something fires inside the brain when a dog hears a familiar word. Budapest, 2024. EEG electrodes measured brain waves in real time as owners named objects, correctly, or with the wrong toy. Match, one pattern. Mismatch, completely different. The same mismatch signal seen in human brains. A neural signature of semantic processing. Mariana Boros. Our study shows dogs activate a mental representation of the object when they hear its name. Mental representation. From a study about a species that also eats things off the sidewalk. The debate continues. Some say genuine understanding. Others say sophisticated association. This is what happens when science meets philosophy. Chaser already brought the correct toy. 2026. Dogs can learn new words by overhearing conversations. Same mechanism as 18-month-old human infants. Either dogs are closer to toddlers than we thought, or the other way around. Before Chaser, referential language was considered uniquely human. Chimps got participation trophies. Parrots were dismissed as audio recorders. She didn't just set a record. She made that assumption very difficult to maintain. The Budapest EEG studies, the Emory fMRI work, the 2026 paper. None of it happens without Chaser. She wasn't exceptional because she was a genius dog. She was exceptional because she had an exceptional teacher. No grant, no lab, a Border Collie, a house full of toys and retirement energy with nowhere useful to go. I was already retired for 9 years when Chaser came. She reawakened me as a person as well as a scientist. He was 85 when the paper came out. He never stopped working with her. John Pilley died on June 17, 2018. He was 89. Chaser died 13 months later. She was 15, at home, peaceful. She is buried with the other Pilley dogs, sprinkled with his ashes. A retired professor, his dog, 4 hours a day, for years. Scientists still don't know exactly how she did it. It's not really about a dog who knew 1,000 words. It's about what it means to understand anything at all, and how close we might be to the other minds sharing this planet with us. She just knew she was a good girl. And she was right.